Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my hero build series. I am Sylphin. In today's video we are showcasing the newest hero to Paragon, Countess. She is an incredible burst caster assassin basically, and boy did we have fun with her. So let's go right into the build that I'm calling Selene. Now, this build is highly focused around movement. So Selene is a reference to the Underworld series of movies, and Selene is the main hero. She, as a vampire, they have lots of movement, lots of they're very fast. And that's what I kind of wanted to focus on with her in this build. Now she does have a teleport that we'll get into later, but it doesn't necessarily always account for every situation. Sometimes you do need to escape because you are relatively squishy as a burst caster. So we incorporate a blink charm. Plus it'll just help in so many ways, and I think this is going to be a good option for Countess to have. So here's the build, ladies and gentlemen. You start off right with the Guardian's Ward, little bit of health because you are so squishy right at level 1. Need that little bit of health. Of course, you first start off, my apologies, with the health, mana, and a strike token. Last hitting is a bit tricky. So if you really feel like you can handle maybe not a mana potion, withholding your abilities, that would definitely be an option. But I think for me, I would go for the health and mana potion, but 2 strike tokens would actually be really powerful. Right after that, like I said, into the Guardian's Ward, 2 minor strikes and a lesser health. Follow that with a Fountain Spike. This is going to give you 150 mana that you definitely need. Once you start getting your abilities up, you can definitely start using your combinations, and having that mana available for that is very important. After the Fountain Spike, going into actually a Void Steel Dagger. What this is going to do is give us some pierce, because people will start to have some innate armor that they will get just from leveling up, and some tanks and supports, of course, will start building armor, so you can definitely use this Void Steel Dagger after that. Then at this point, once we have the basics, some health, some mana, and some pen just to make sure that our damage really sinks in there, then we can go into our Blink Charm for that really good mobility. Don't underestimate this whatsoever. After that Blink Charm, then we go into damage, but also some health along the way. We go into a Amulet of the Veteran and the Adamant Edge. The Amulet of the Veteran, 3/3/2 strike. Crazy. A ton of damage, but also 300 health. Definitely going to help soak up a few hits when you go in there and get a good burst down. And then you go into the Adamant's Edge, 3/3 strike, 2 health, giving you again 300 additional more health and a whole bunch of damage. That between these 2 cards, right? That's 600 health and a whole bunch of damage. It's really not that bad. After that, we go into the Stone Tooth Heart. That's going to probably, at this point, replace your first fountain spike. We will reclaim that mana later. The Stone Tooth Heart, again, some health, because we're trying to get a little bit of a buffer so that we can burst in there, take a little bit of damage as we're doing a burst, maybe stick around for maybe a few basic attacks. You'll be surprised how fast people turn on a squishy hero like Countess, and you just need to survive. So all of this pierce now in this early late game definitely come in handy for just this tank meta that we are currently in. After the Stone Tooth Heart, we go into the Void Steel Dagger, a strong one to replace our weak one. 3/3 strike, 2 pierce. Again, this is going to be where all of our pierce comes from. It's a good, healthy amount, about 100, I do believe. So not too much. If somebody just gets 1 tempered or tuned, it actually can add up to be quite a bit. Plus their innate armor at level 15. It's definitely a good amount. Now after you get all of these pierce and health at the late game, then you can replace your weak Guardian's Ward for some more damage with your Brawler's Ward. All 3-point strikes. Yeah, 75 mana is obviously going to help give you an ability that you wouldn't otherwise have, and all this strike is nuts. So the final build, ladies and gentlemen: Adamant Edge, Amulet of the Veteran, Brawler's Ward, Strong Void Steel Dagger, Stone Tooth Heart, and a Blink Charm. All in all, that is 300, 600, 7, 8, 9, 1,200 extra health, which is a very good amount. It's 300 more than where the cutoff for armor actually starts to help you more than health. But trying to cart in some armor in here, it wouldn't really be... I mean, it certainly is effective. She has definitely a very strong capability, right? Thorned Greenweave and a Spiked Boneplate. But, I mean, I'm choosing to deal with health because another thing about health with her is one of her abilities scales with the total health that she has. So if you can build more health, it'll actually be, I'm hoping, better than armor. Enough of this. There's the build, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into the replay. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, right off in the early game. So, like I said, you start off with that health, mana, and strike token. That is what we chose to get here. I arguably might have gotten away with just getting a health and two strike tokens because I was too liberal with my abilities here at the beginning. Right here, I'm definitely noticing already that these last hits are going to be a little bit tricky. She's only doing about like 33 damage, I believe, something like that. That's sticking in my head for some reason. And this gadget is just doing a really good job poking me down. And I kind of struggle quite a bit to deal with her, but don't worry, we actually start kicking her butt here pretty soon. The last hits are a bit tricky. She does really struggle with those last hits, so 2 strike tokens, like I've said multiple times already, is a good option. The very first ability that we went for is actually, it was her Dark Tide. That was the ability that you just saw just there, and that's not the ability you should go with. The very first ability you definitely should go with is her passive. It's her Blade Siphon. It's her right-click ability. It twirls her blades around her in an AoE and deals some damage. There is a passive, though, to it, and that passive grants you 1% of your health to yourself whenever you kill a minion. So here, getting these last hits on these minions are actually very, very important to sustaining in this early game. So as you can see, we're low health, we're having a tough time. Getting that Blade Siphon in the early game, that as your first ability, I think would be a little bit better. I mean, a level here or there, arguably, maybe not the most important decision of the whole game, but I think that would definitely help. The second ability that you should probably get is actually her Shadow Slip. So Countess targets an enemy and blinks to it, dealing damage and applying a slow. If the target is a minion, it is executed. So if there's, a siege minion or two, you really want to kill them because they're attacking your tower, you can certainly use it to execute that minion. But reactivate the ability to return to your original blink position. So if you're standing on a ledge and you shadow slip to somebody below you, there's a little kind of icon that appears, and then you can, you only have a certain amount of time until you can activate it and then teleport back to the very first spot where you used Shadow Slip. Why should we get that second? Probably because what you can do is Shadow Slip to, you know, somebody that's trying to gank you, and then what you can do is run away from your original blink position, forcing them to follow you, and then you blink back to your original position, therefore creating some space between you and hopefully staying alive at that point. That's kind of the thinking there with getting that, the second ability. Maybe you could even get that as your first ability, but I think that passive to regain health is probably going to be a little bit better, especially if you a little bit better with you know, dealing with your lane opponent in lane. And the last ability that you should probably go for is Dark Tide. Now, Dark Tide, Countess sends out a roiling cloud of darkness in front of her, dealing damage to all enemies in the area of effect. It's a fantastic ability to use to get pretty damn good damage on a minion wave, and also to pick off, you know, a short distance. Like you just saw me use it there. It's not the farthest ability ever, but it is. It does go a fair distance, so you can use that to damage somebody that's running away, like that gadget that was just running away. I was still at this point in the game getting used to her abilities, where they are. I do feel like her Shadow Slip is not very intuitive. See now, it's so not intuitive that I can't even remember what the abilities were. So her E was her Dark Tide, which I don't actually feel like it should be on her E for the computer. That means that it's your circle on PS4. I actually think that Dark Tide should be on your right click or your second right trigger, because it's a range ability. It's your right. I don't know. It took me a while to get used to what keys were her abilities on, you know, with the combination, and what keys those were. So you'll start to see me getting the hang of it pretty soon. So that is consideration. She will take time, just because you need really good timing with her in terms of her combination. But as you can see here, that Dark Tide is a good ability that once you start getting some damage, can actually clear a wave pretty darn quick. Especially around the 30, 40, obviously by the 50 CP mark. You can use that, few basic attacks, and you can just clear out a wave, no problem. Excuse me. Okay. So I did kind of mention what her kind of combination is, and as a burst caster, that's going to be a very important thing of what makes her successful. Her burst combination. So what is that burst combination? Obviously it starts with your Shadow Slip, where you blink to a target and deal some damage and apply a slow. That slow then enables you to do two options. Well, three options, I guess. One is you can use your Blade Siphon, which, you know, which is your AoE, and deal some damage. You can then use your Dark Tide, which is kind of your little bit of a ranged ability that sends that kind of damage forward. Or you can use your ultimate, which is Feast. Countess jumps to a nearby enemy hero, as you saw me do on that gadget just a while ago, forcing them to look at her and stun them before dealing a massive burst of damage. So she forces them to kind of turn to her, stuns them for a short time, and then deals big, huge damage as she stabs them with her swords. So you have three options after you Shadow Slip onto the target. What I found just in this game alone was really successful was using her Shadow Slip, blinking in towards the enemy, using your Blade Siphon for kind of two reasons. It's not that big of an AoE, certainly much smaller than Dark Tide is, but it also is like a really, really fast ability. So when you use Blade Siphon, it's like, it's almost instant, and there seems to be, I hope it's not a bug, but as soon as you come out of your Shadow Slip, like, you can use Blade Siphon almost instantaneously. Like, it almost feels like you're using Blade Siphon as you're teleporting. Like, it's that quick. So it's basically kind of like a guaranteed ability on the enemy. Shadow Slip right into Blade Siphon. And I think you'll be able to see my combination here. There's the blink into the ultimate, and then I use the Shadow Slip to then go back to my original position. Now, I was still getting used to her. As you saw, I just used my Blade Siphon. Sorry, I might have messed up the names there. I used my Shadow Slip into her ultimate, which is Feast, and then you saw me use my Blade Siphon. I thought I was in range of her, but I wasn't. And then I didn't use Dark Tide at all. Still getting used to her, but if I was to have done that differently, Blade Siphon into your... Shadow Slip into your Blade Siphon, as we've already discussed. That's pretty much like instantaneous burst damage right there. And then you can use your ultimate, Feast. Now, one quick thing, you just saw me blink right onto that Greystone on the ledge, using her Shadow Slip to traverse terrain, kind of juke him out like that. I think that was a very smart thing that I did there. Use that terrain. Remember, she's a burst caster. She's very squishy, so try not to take that damage. You can sustain. Go into lane and recuperate your health by lasting minions, but still have to play smart. So after you've used your Shadow Slip right into your Blade Siphon, and then used your ultimate, Feast, that's already a crap ton of damage. At that point, the enemy's probably going to be trying to use one of their escape abilities, right? Or they're going to get to start getting away from you. At that point, I think that it's most successful to use your Dark Tide at that point. You certainly can use your Shadow Slip and then Blade Siphon, and then use your Dark Tide. But I don't think that's going to be as successful. Just because you want to save that Dark Tide until the last ability, because if they do somehow get a little bit of distance between you and the enemy, probably want to save that Dark Tide so you can really finish them off. That's definitely what I found to be kind of most successful, and I think I'm trying to think now if I actually ever did a full combination on an enemy where I used all of her abilities and then Shadow Slipped back to my original position. I don't think that there's enough time for you to use every single ability. With that said, I actually think that there is. If you time it really well, and like I've said, Blade Siphon is pretty much instantaneous once you come out of your Shadow Slip. Like, it's pretty crazy. There might be some animation canceling going on with her. Shadow Slip into Blade Siphon, that's almost instantaneously. Use your Dark Tide and then your ultimate, and then get out of there. I think that is possible. I'm just not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure we do that, and we might see that here in this video. So as you can see, I'm starting to do much better against this gadget. I am harassing her with her combination. She's just standing in her in her tower because she knows that my Feng Mao could come up, and with my burst combo now, I can start doing lots. So like this, Shadow Slip into Feast, into my Shadow Slip again. I remember that engagement right there. All I wanted to do was just get a little bit of damage off on her and come back. And by a little bit, I mean half of her health. So I wanted to maybe push this lane just a bit. I called for some help, and we're going back here for some more cards. So at this point we have our Guardian's Ward, Fountain Spike, and Void Steel Dagger. As our first 3 cards, some health, some mana, and some pen to really make sure that our damage digs into the enemy. That Fountain Spike, I would maybe perhaps get one minor strike and then 2 minor lesser manas. She is really, really thirsty. Get it, Vampire? For mana, but you know, it's gonna be up to you. So let's see us totally nuke this gadget. Just delete her off the off the battlefield. Just insane. As you saw there, we used our Shadow Slip into our Blade Siphon, and that happened like instantaneously. We can use our Dark Tide in there as well, and then use our ultimate. I'm starting to remember things now. And then use your Shadow Slip away. Awesome. Now watch this Bellica. She's great. Uses her Blink Charm like the moment I press the button for Shadow Slip. I thought I had actually pressed it because I used my Blade Siphon. Like, that's how close she was to blinking away at the right time. Like, very, 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 very nice job. I think I try to go in on her, and I don't do enough. Yeah. And I see, I messed the combination up there. I either don't have my rifle, yeah, so we don't have Blade Siphon off cooldown. And if I had had that on cooldown, she definitely would have been dead. So at this point, guys, 20 minutes in, I'm still testing her out. Here we go. I go in with the Shadow Slip into the Blade Siphon and then blink back. Now the really interesting thing is that when you use your Shadow Slip to return to your original position, the tower stops attacking you. The tower stops attacking you. I don't know of any of any other hero that can attack a hero inside of a tower and then still stick around in the tower by some means. Actually, maybe Gideon with his teleport, if he teleports within an enemy tower's range. I'm not sure. Maybe. So here I'm kind of toying with what to do with this Greystone. Do I use, do I kind of waste my... do I waste my Shadow Slip? I chose to use it just for some damage. Here we go. It's a 3v1. I don't know much to say, but here I choose to use her Feast as a sort of crowd control to kind of hold him there. That Feng Mao, I mean, it really, really helped. He chose to use his ultimate. And at this point, we kind of just chase him down while I wait for my Shadow Slip to come up. There you go. Completely nuked. At this point, I have almost... Well, I have no mana, so we have to retreat. As you can see, a little bit more mana could really, really, really help. We had no mana. Could have done more to that Greystone. Killed him a little bit earlier. The issue, though, and there's an example here in this match right now, is Bellica. With Bellica existing, / she's fairly common, I would say. She's fairly common. People are still playing her lots. You get a lot of mana to sustain your burst cast nature. She's going to really punish you. So I am actually looking into a second build that I want to do with her where we do get a little bit of mana regen instead of just a big mana pool. Try to maybe counter Bellica a little bit in this meta. So we're doing pretty good so far. we're doing pretty good. 3-0. One assist, but I mean, as a burst caster, you're pretty much just an assassin, and you know, going off on your own and just completely deleting somebody from the game is, excuse me, definitely something that you can do quite easily. So here we are coming in on a whole bunch of the enemy team. At this point, I'm really thinking of who is my target, who is the juicy target on the enemy team. And if we do take a look, I do remember at this point looking at the enemy team and going, the Sparrow is building some health. As you can see here, the Amulet of Veteran 600. But the Gadget and the Bellica, well, I didn't really look at her all that well then, did I? The Gadget, yeah. And the, who else was it? Anyways, I do remember the Gadget anyways. And I thought the Bellica was, I definitely misread there. So look at this burst there into the Blade Siphon, Dark Tide into the Feast. And then do I get a blink back? No, I don't. That would actually would have been really interesting to see if I could have used all of her abilities and then blinked back there. I don't think you have enough time, especially there when I struggled with getting all of her abilities off at the same time. Yeah, so it definitely would be interesting to see if you can. I think we've already showcased though that we're able to do that. So here I'm really toying with the idea of going in for that Narbash or the Bellica, and I choose to do that now. I think I tried to go in for the Bellica, but I'm like, nope, the Narbash is doing a really good job. I do go in for the Narbash, don't I? No. Oh yes, yes, I remember this. Yep. So the Sparrow does a really nice job with her ultimate. I go back, use my health potion, and then I use this opportunity to go in and totally destroy the Sparrow. Listen to Blade Siphon to the Dark Tide, and I blink out. I don't even need to use the ultimate there. And look at that little bit of health on the Guardian's Ward saves our butts. That's exactly why we get it, guys. And we're going back to get even more health. After this here, after that Void Steel Dagger, we go into the Blink Charm. So you can see right there in my 4th slot. If I move it out of the way, right there, there's that 4th slot. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, camera. Wow. So here is pretty much the best engagement I have of the whole game. I use my burst combination here on the Bellica, and there you go. There was the full combination there, and the Blink Charm to get me out of harm's way. I used all of the abilities all at once and still got to blink away. So I'm deciding here to be really smart to try to get back and then re-engage. So here I go in on the Narbash. I tried to stay up on that ledge, but I couldn't. I choose to blink back, which might not have been the smartest choice, but it turns out to be actually okay. Just do a little bit of damage here on the Greystone since he's not really focusing me. Now that he is, though, I'm going to let my other team members, they can take a little bit more hits than I do that. I'm going to go around into the back because I saw that Gadget was kind of peeking her head around in the jungle. Here I go and I finish off this Greystone, turn around, use a... I thought I already used my... Oh, yes, yeah, so there was a good situational awareness on my part. I was like, hey, Gadget, that Gadget's actually moving towards my original Shadow Slip point. I'm gonna use my Shadow Slip to go back. There you go, secure the kill there. I think that was a really good engagement on our team. They did a fantastic job while engaging there with me against that Bellica, and then kind of peeling for me. The Twin Blast did die, which arguably could probably be the more important ally here to keep alive. But fantastic job on their part. So here I see this Bellica attacking, and I'm like, hello! Use a whole burst combination. Look at that! Look at that! Isn't that insane? Isn't that insane? I want to look at that again, guys. Like, I'm sorry. So watch this. Shadow Slip into the Blade Siphon, into the Dark Tide. Her ultimate just completely nuked. Just completely nuked. We're gonna watch that, guys, with the UI on, just so you can see here. So we're about half health here with first half mana at 686. What? Like, insane, insane. And guys, right now in the build, we're not even halfway through. Like, yeah, well, we have 39 card power, yes, but with all of the kind of switching out we're going to do here, like here, I haven't even finished upgrading the Amulet of the Veteran, and we still have the Adamant's Edge, Stone-Tooth Heart, the Voidsteel Dagger, and our very strong Brawler's Ward to go. Insane, insane. It's at this point where I'm laughing manically, because I'm like, when I was playing this, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what she was capable of. Like, yeah, at this point I'm laughing maniacally slash kind of upset that I couldn't record this as I was playing it, because Exploit was being really stupid. And yeah, anyways, so guys, like, the build here is really good so far. I think though that if I have to be honest here, oh, and watch this engagement here. Oh yeah, no, I thought this was going to be a team fight, but do this, and then we delete the Bellica once again. And I think this is where we get 2 inhibitors very quickly, and then pretty much win the game. I do have to say, though, that I feel like our team enabled us to do what we do best. As a burst caster assassin, it's basically what she is. Our team, our team was there for us, was a big enough presence in these team fights to let us, kind of go, like in that one where I went all the way around into the back to kill that gadget. Our team still engaged. They let me go around. They kept their attention, right? I do have to give them credit, and I do think that our team did play very well to let us do that. So there, you saw I was kind of contemplating how to engage on that Narbash. I would have just wanted some basic attacks to kill him, but I missed with a whole bunch of things and didn't end up going too well. Here I mess up my combination. I was doing it too fast, and I messed it up there, and we could have killed him. But the Murdoch snipes him, and I paused to type. I paused to type, like, just that I'm laughing my ass off, because it's just hilarious at this point that we're just deleting. We're deleting heroes from the game, and it just kind of blew my mind. 9-0, four assists, like, just a monster presence on the battlefield. Just a monster presence. And I hope that you guys enjoyed that. We were Adamant's Edge is the 4th last card in this build, and that's still what we were doing to the enemy team. So at this point, we had a Guardian's Ward to get 2, 4, 6 more points of damage on it. Well, 7 actually. We were going to, this Fountain Spike is replaced with the Stone-Tooth Heart for more pierce and health. And this Voidsteel Dagger is upgraded for 2 more points of damage and 1 more point of pierce. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Please let me know, guys, what do you think of this build down there? What do you think of Countess? She kind of blows my mind, at least in this first game that I played with her. Oh, she was such a fun hero to play. Early game, it was a bit stressful, and I think I might try Health Potion to strike tokens next time, and just really just not use her abilities. Use them very sparsely, very, very conservatively, only during ganks. We're going to try that. So, sorry for the different kind of format. I was really upset that I couldn't record while I was playing. You wouldn't have wanted to be here, hear me curse my head off. So, sorry about that. Hopefully you guys still enjoy the kind of different format as we're recording while watching the replay. Please like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, share it with the community, of course, subscribe if you found this helpful or simply enjoyed it. Subscribe so I can do it for you later. Till next time, like always, guys, stay optimistic and positive.